race fans, I'm Rob Howden from the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire, and it is the off-season. We are just a couple of weeks away from the start of the 2024 schedule, and joined today by two drivers who starred last year in USF Juniors, Nicolas Giaffone and of course Quinn Armstrong as well from DEForce Racing. Guys, first off, season's almost here. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Rob. It's a pleasure being here. It has been an incredible season for us as a team. Not only for myself, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. I'm fully excited for the 2024 season.
Yeah, likewise. I think with everything you said, there was a lot of successes for both of us last year, I believe, and a lot of, good things to build on for this season upcoming.
Yeah, so you had that in your mind. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today with the season kind of bearing down on us right now. You guys had such good seasons last year. Quinn, I'll start with you. Obviously got off to the best start, right? You win the first race of the year. How important is it to you to kind of do the same thing? You're a freshman in USF 2000 this year with DForce. How important is it to get out of the gate strongly?
Yeah, I think it's, not only just proving to other people that you can do it, it's proving to yourself that you can do it, When you do go and, win that first race, you build up a lot of confidence from within, and I'm sure Nicolas, can side with that. It's a good feeling to have, and it's good momentum to carry.
Pressure as well, right? You start the season off in your mind, so much pressure coming in. I've got to get out of the great start. Does it take a little pressure off, or does it put pressure on when you win that first one?
I don't think it would necessarily do either. I think the pressure is still there no matter what. It maybe a little bit less because you can roll it now. You can get this thing rolling, but the pressure's always there.
It's always there. Nicolas, we talked about the great start for Quinn, right? Gets the first win. You didn't get the first win, but you were strong out of the gate, right? You had a good Sebring, super good, obviously, at Barber. To you, how important it is to kind of redo that. Again, a freshman. There are guys that have been in the series before that you're going head-to-head with this year.
Yeah, it's true, Rob. Although we have a few of second years this year in USF 2000, and I think it's going to be a bigger challenge to be strong as I was right out of the gates because competition will be rough, I can tell you that. But most important, what I think we did well last year was being always in top 5. Sometimes you don't even have to win every race to become champion, you just have to be consistently there. And I think if we do a good job next year as we did this year, we'll be probably fine.
I think one of the interesting things for both of you guys and any juniors driver coming up to USF 2000 is you haven't run the street course yet, right? You haven't run the oval. We'll talk about that later, but you haven't run a street course. We started here at Sebring last year in USF Juniors. Your first race this year now is going to be coming out of the gate at St. Petersburg. How excited are you to get on the street course?
I think it's going to be awesome. Being with IndyCar in a track like St. Pete will be amazing. And to be honest, I'm quite curious to know how I will adapt to the streets. I have something in me saying that I'll like it.
Okay. What about you, Quinn?
Yeah, I think I tend to like the tracks more than I'm fast at. I'm sure it's similar for you.
You guys all say,
we love where we're fast.
Yeah.
We love where we're fast. Yeah.
So, maybe practice one, I'll be fast, and I'll go, yeah, this is the best thing ever. Maybe we look at it a different way if it's not as good,
Have you guys had a discussion yet with the guys from the team? Have you sat down and talked about St. Petersburg yet? How you're going to approach it? Because, they always say that the first session you talked about it. We're normally the first session out on the racetrack. It's dirty. You kind of stay away from the walls a bit. Has it been a discussion yet? Or when we get closer, next couple of weeks, is that when you'll start talking about it?
Probably when we get a bit closer, we'll start talking. But of course, a bit of the overall about it. Street courses, you can't treat it like a normal course. You can't treat it like Barber, for example, because normal cars run there throughout the day, and sometimes a bump has changed or they have redone the asphalt. So you never know. Street courses are really something we have to keep in mind and be open to adaptation.
I'm sure, Quinn, that as soon as the season wrapped up at COTA this past year, you started thinking about 2024, right? What am I going to do? Have you watched any video? I know that's a big thing for you guys. So there are tracks you've never been to. The great thing about juniors, you ran a bunch of tracks last year, like a Road America, like a Mid-Ohio, that you'll run here in 2024. Have you started going over the video of some of the tracks you haven't been to yet?
Yeah, I think I can say on my account that I love watching videos.
Okay.
Even if it's not necessarily the same series, maybe I'm looking at a USF Pro onboard. I do spend a lot of time at home, back home in Australia, because, sometimes you can feel a little bit out of the loop, I suppose, being on the other side of the world, so I think video is a good, way to connect with everything and prepare for the races that are coming up.
So is it like always trying to keep your mind connected? That's the kind of a question I wanted to go to you guys on, is the fact that in the off season now, I know there's testing throughout the off season, but you do something to wind down a little bit. I'm sure you went back to Brazil, you go back to Australia. Nick, let's start with you. Were you able to disconnect a bit, or like Quinn said, are you always trying to stay connected?
You never disconnect fully.
Really?
Never. I think I tried, really I tried. But the moment you want to relax, you start thinking about racing again, and then your mind just go back fully of it. After Indy in October, I was like, okay, I know where I need to work on my shoulders. I need to find my neck and my cardio. So after IMS, the test we had in October, I was like, okay, I know what I need to work on, and I was fully onto it when I went back to Brazil. And you never really, we don't have normal lives. I think everyone knows that by that, and we don't have 30 days off a year. We don't. We are always thinking about racing. We're always trying to improve because competition doesn't stop even when the season is over.
Quinn, about the same thing?
Yeah, I think I can relate to that pretty closely. You know, there's times where you try your hardest, you know, whether it's going on a bike ride with mates or going to school, you know, you think you're focused on your study sort of
Back
thing.
to your real life to a certain
Yeah,
extent.
back to the real life, you know, the real world. So, but, you know, it's still so heavily ingrained in your memory. And, you know, when it's, you know, this thing that you so desperately want, you know, every day, it's the focus.
So you mentioned something that I thought was interesting, because we talk a lot about drivers moving up through the ladder system, right? Juniors to 2000 to Pro 2000. You mentioned getting yourself maybe a little more in shape. As you move your way up the ranks, the car gets faster, right? A little more horsepower now when we take the restrictor out for you guys. Do you feel like you need to do a little more work in terms of fitness-wise?
I think you're never 100%
That's
into it, you know. I think you can always get better. Although if you're in a limit where you're not overweight, but you feel strong, I think that's very good, because if you feel your body throughout the race, you lose your focus, you lose your concentration. So the less you remember about your body during the race, the better. And that's something I take on really seriously.
It really is one of the things you can control, right? There's a lot of stuff you can't control on the racetrack.
Exactly.
Your fitness level and your ability to
Exactly.
be able to not get tired. Quinn, that's something that it's fully in your control.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily I have, you know, a bit of leeway in the weight. You know, I'm a smaller guy, so that's definitely a positive on my side, that I'm pretty much always trying to gain, which is, you know, for sure a positive.
We are opposites.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're trying to get lean.
Yeah.
He's trying to pack muscle.
Exactly.
Bigger than me. That's why I have the hoodie on today. So.
Okay, I see.
He wants to look.
He wants to look
wider.
bigger.
Yeah, I'm just covering it up. You know,
I get it.
it's gonna get huge
a
before
good
St.
idea.
Pete.
It's a
I'm
good
sure.
idea.
You know, I just don't want everyone
Don't
to
let
know.
anybody
you know?
see.
Yeah, exactly. It's
stealth mode.
Racing is secretive. You know,
100%
you got to keep everything tight.
Well, speaking of keeping things tight, now you guys are back with DEForce, right? Again, your third year with the team, I think, right? Your third year, right? You're back for your second year with the team. You guys are teammates. How do you separate the competition side and the teammate side? Are you guys, like, the minute the visor goes down, are you now competitors? Or is there a little teammate in there?
I feel like, yeah, I think everyone, when the visor goes down, you can't really be friends. You can't have friends, because at the end of the day, everyone's vying for the same thing, but there can only be one winner. You know, there is no two winners, you know, in this game. So you have to be able to set that aside, that friendship aside, you know, and really just knuckle down and go for it. You know, it's whilst coming out, it's all nice. Nicolas is a nice guy, don't get me wrong, you know? But at the end of the day, on the track, I want to beat him. I want to beat everyone.
He's the enemy.
It's exactly,
yeah.
you know, and it's a big change, because, you know, like, you know, from the flick of the visor, all of a sudden they're a different person.
Yeah.
You got to look at them a different way, you know? So I'm sure that he can relate.
And that's the psyche of a racer that people don't understand. If you're not a racer, you don't realize when that visor goes down, you're a different person to a certain extent. Would you feel the same way?
Yeah, I will. It's not soccer. I mean, half don't win, half don't lose. Here, one wins and the rest lose. So you need to be out doing everything by yourself and for yourself. When we're out, I think we will be talking about the car, we'll be talking about the balance, because we need the team to go forward. But once we have the car and we put the visor down and we hear green, 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 man, it's difficult. It's difficult, but we've always been clean with each other. We didn't have any incidents last year. We race hard, but we know how to respect each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's the interesting side, right? You remember you're the same color side by side, but just a different color, you may be a little more aggressive, because you know that if you guys are battling head to head, David Martinez is coming on the radio and saying, hey, you guys can race, but don't take each other out, right?
Yeah, you got to, you know, whilst I say you look at them different, you still got to have that respect at the end of the day. You know, we're still vying for the same thing, but respect, you know, it's gained mutually. So you're not going to get it if you're, if I'm out here pushing him off. It's just not going to happen. It's going to come back one day, and it'll probably come back harder. So it's just not smart.
That's very true. So here's a question for you then. Let's move to the season. You guys are going head to head. You're both race winners in the USF Pro Championships, as we know. Is there a track that you really want to win on this year in 2024?
LOR.
Yeah. I
You both
100%
want
agree.
to. It's the oval.
Yeah.
The Freedom 75.
I think yes, it's obviously very broad, but you can sort of link it to an Indy 500. It's very junior, don't get me wrong.
It's still
But,
that,
it's an oval. It's your first oval race, for us too.
Yeah.
So it's sort of one of those things that if I can only imagine, if you win it, you sort of start thinking, oh, here we go, this can be linked to one of the biggest races, and it's a good pathway, and 1.5 points. That's always a big positive.
Here's all the different levels of it, right? There's the prestige, and then there's trying to win a championship. But like you said, it's 1.5 points for sure.
Yeah.
Now, what about I guess I was say, what is it about the track? You guys have tested there.
Yeah.
I know you tested there last year. I'm sure probably you're going to test as we get closer to the season as well. What are your thoughts on oval racing? It's a big part of IndyCar. Not so much a part of the Europe. Like if you're in Europe, you don't think about running an oval.
Yeah.
Have you, in your experience so far, what did you think?
I thought it was amazing, and I felt connected to my father's past. So it was very nice because he was there with me, and it was nice to be fast right away. I felt that it was a part of me, really. I felt so good in the car. Normally, people get dizzy or they struggle with confidence, but I was so comfortable out there that, of course, our car was great, and this helps.
Yeah.
And but of course, I felt so connected with my father's past and with everything he's done because he has raced on normal circuits and street circuits, but oval is his specialty. So having him by my side and learning the tricks, it's something that I felt amazing. And another race I really want to win, Portland Race 3, the last of the year. You'll be the happiest driver.
That's true enough.
Even if you don't win the championship.
As long as you win that last race, for sure, right? We're capping things off, of course, at Portland. Quinn, let's come to you. Your initial thoughts of driving on the oval.
It's awesome. I can't relate on my father's side of, being an oval driver. Definitely no relations there, but, it was a different experience. And it was, good to have something different. I feel like it's been so similar my whole racing career. I've never done a street course. It's just been road courses.
True.
So let alone an oval, no street courses. So it was for sure a different feeling. And I feel like DEForce helped me with that different feeling. And I enjoy doing ovals on a sim. Obviously sim is, different, but I enjoy it. And I came into the test thinking that, it was very last minute, but I was about as excited as a kid the night before Christmas, So I was, really, really itching to get out there. And, once I did, I really enjoyed it. It was learning experiences, different, techniques needed to be learnt.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Is it something about potentially getting out of your comfort zone to try something new? Of course, the long term is there, right? If you're going to be an IndyCar driver, you need to learn how to turn left. You got to be able to maximize the ovals. There's a number of ovals on the IndyCar circuit. Is it about getting out of your comfort zone and trying something new, kind of stretching yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I think with everything, the earlier you can get into something, for the most part, it's going to benefit you. So that's what I think. The advantage of starting at USF 2000, USF Juniors level, you can practice the oval on a smaller one like LOR. You have more opportunity to learn. You do your test before it. You can get these sort of little techniques sorted, and then if you keep moving up, you can carry those with you.
Indeed, yeah. So one thing you mentioned you couldn't relate to the fact that he has his dad on his sidelines. One thing you guys can relate to is you're both coming in from long distances, right? One of the big things about our series is the international flavor that we have. You're from Brazil, you're from Australia. Let's talk about the Brazilian side. Your fans are, of course, crazy excited when we have our broadcast. They're all on there. But there's a lot of Brazilians already in the IndyCar paddock. Is that something you obviously aspire to that? But is there any connection to some of the Brazilians? Do they come and you get a chance to speak with them?
Yes, yeah, a lot actually, because my father raced with most of them.
Yeah, true.
And we're very good friends with Tony, with Gilles de Ferran and Elio. So I have them, basically when I need. I've talked a lot with Gilles throughout the season. He has helped me a lot because he and my dad have a very special connection. And Tony with McLaren now, that opens doors in the future if I'm fast enough, which I hope I'll be. So having Elio with Meyershank, Tony with McLaren, and Gilles now with Formula One, but McLaren still, this is very nice. I can count with their help and support when I need from like feedbacks on track. Joe, how will you do that turn? Or Tony, mate, I don't know how to turn left. Please help me. You've won an Indy 500.
Exactly.
So if they can help me setup-wise and driver-wise, this will be great. But as a relationship with the network, I think I can do with them. It will be amazing.
Yeah, and Quinn, so you don't have those introductions, right? You don't have dad saying, oh, by the way, here's Tony Kanaan and Helio Castroneves. Have you had a chance to hook up with, let's say, a Will Power, that kind of a thing?
Not really.
Yet.
You got to make that happen.
Yeah, it would be nice for sure. And I think it comes down the track, I'm sure.
And let's be real, with USF Juniors last year, we had the one event, right, at Barber Motorsports Park with IndyCar, but we were kind of wrapped up by the time they really got going. This is a little bit for you, kind of part of what's so good about the USF Pro Championships is the fact that we run with IndyCar. So you're going to be able to, if you have to, you just go knock on his door, or we'll at least be able to connect you potentially with Will, right? There's more opportunities when we're running IndyCar weekends.
Yeah, exactly. It's that sort of exposure, and someone like Will is got such a decorative career, and he also obviously came from Australia like myself, so I feel like for sure there's a lot of things to be learnt from his path and his, coming up and his success.
Let's talk about the fan base. Obviously back in Brazil, you in Australia, you've won races. How did you feel when you went back home? Do you feel like there's momentum now behind you? Maybe the motorsports community back there getting behind you a little bit?
Yeah. I feel Brazil has been looking to Formula One for far too long now. And coming to the US, I think it was a bit of a shock to everybody because after Formula 4 Brazil in 2022, most of the fans expected us to follow racing in Europe.
Yeah.
And I was the only guy who said, I'm not going there, I'm going to the US. I like the ovals, I like IndyCar. And once I came here, people started to notice, people started to talk about it, and then when we started doing well as a team and I went back home, it was really satisfying to see that people were actually happy for me and cheering for me. And after I won the championship, I went back home after Portland. I mean, the feeling was very special. It was very special.
The coverage we have on USF Pro TV obviously is big for you as well, Quinn. A lot of people back in Australia watching. They have to stay up sometimes or whatever to watch. A little tougher for them to watch, but the real fans do it. Talk about when you go home. What kind of momentum do you feel from the Aussie motorsports fans?
Yeah, there's a lot of support. I mean, obviously likewise to Brazil. I feel like there is still a lot of focus on the European and the F1 side of things, and being a massive time zone change, you do have to have it within you to, take that time, wake up really early, and watch the race. But there is people there, and I am very appreciative of said people that do that, because it helps you build confidence, and confidence is so important in racing as a whole, not just on the driving part, but showing up to the race weekend. So it's nice to have, a little bit of push that isn't necessarily just your family, just your mum, just your dad sort of thing.
And business and sponsorship as well, right? The marketing side of it as well. The more you become well known down there, the more momentum you have, the traction, you're able to potentially get some Australian companies, the businesses to support what you're doing. Yeah,
for sure. That's such a big part of racing, as everyone learns, as they go further up in the ranks. It's such a crucial part to make those connections, with your companies, with your businesses, with your people, these high up people and well-known people, that they're, a big part of the driving factor of making it to be someone someday.
So Nicolas, coming into the new season, obviously you have those colors, right? That USF Pro Championship scholarship colors. Does it feel like there's a target on your back? Are you worried, or are you maybe motivated carrying those colors?
I don't feel like a target. I'm a rookie, Rob. As I was last year, I'm a rookie. From where I'm seeing, there's no pressure on me. I'm a first year. I've never been to street courses. I've never learned the oval really for good. I still haven't learned it for Rio. So I've been to some of the tracks we're going to race in, but I don't feel the pressure, to be honest. I feel like having the number one and having the USF Pro Championship scholarship and that livery is something really cool, and it's something that gets me smiling every day because it remembers of the hard work and how it paid off last year. So I'm really excited to have the privilege to run the number one car, and although I'm a rookie, I hope I get to run these colors again next year.
Well, we've seen that happen before. Kyle Kirkwood went all the way through, so you could obviously follow his footsteps. Quinn, let's come to you. You don't have those scholarship colors, but you've driven a lot of tracks that we've already driven here and will drive this year. Are there some tracks that make you nervous, or are there some tracks that maybe you're like, I can't wait to get there? We talked about winning at IRP on the oval, the Freedom 75, but are there other tracks you're like, man, I can't wait to get there?
Yeah, I look forward to showing up to every track. It's as simple as that. You know, even the tracks that I say I don't love, I still want to be there. You know, I'd still rather be there than any other place in the world, really. Yeah. So, you know, it's one of those things that you just deal with in racing. And I feel like having DEForce on my side, it makes life a lot easier in those sense. You know, it's something that I believe they're going to work really hard for me, and I put that faith in them, and they always do. They always deliver. You know, so that always has a bit, you know, in the back of my head, knowing that if something is not right with me, there's going to be support from the team. You know, there's such a driving factor in my success.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about them for sure. Let me just cap this part off. Is there a track then that you think owes you something? Was there one that you went to this year and maybe something slipped away from you? Let me angle it that way.
I would say Road America.
Okay.
I love that track.
And why?
I love that track, but you know, last year the weekend was so good. It was looking almost perfect. You know, I poled it, first pole of the year. Then I went on to win race 1. I think I led every lap, maybe missed out on 1. You know, like dream race sort of situation. You know, where you get in the lead and you just drive off and you sort of put it on cruise control and you're in that zone. You're going. You know, it's the thing you dream of every night. And I think I may have dreamed of that too much that night after doing it because, yeah, the other 2 races the next day were just not good. You know, it was a crazy race for everyone. You know, I'm sure Nicolas can relate to that. And, you know, it's just so happened to be that I got stuck up in that craziness and there was adjustments that I needed to make that I didn't make in time.
That's part of the growth, though, isn't it? I know when you look back at it, you say, man, I left something on the table there, right? I could have cashed in a little bit more there. But you're a different driver because of that.
Yeah, for sure. Now I look back on it, I can't even tell you how many times I've looked at that video back home in Australia and sort of kicked myself, you know, thinking, what was I doing? But it's through that I've now remembered that. And that is now engraved in my mind that I'm like, I cannot let this happen again. Like, I can't let this happen again. So it's something you can learn from, like you say, and look over it and just study and just think, what could I have done rather than what I did do?
So this is a driver development program, right? We hammer this in. That's what the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire is. It's about developing you guys to go to IndyCar. And I know I talked to both of you guys at the end of the season, at the start of the season too, and I say this to every driver. Remember when I asked you about how you felt at the start of this year and the start of the next year, kind of a thing. Nick, let's start with you. Let's go back to who you were at the start of the year. How much have you grown to now as compared to the start of last year?
Mainly, I think, as a driver, I'm completely different. A full year of experience gets you going in a way you have no idea how much you learn in a year is something fantastic. And if I was to compare myself as a person throughout in the beginning of last year, I think I was less mature. I think I was more insecure about myself, and 2023 helped me to build up confidence and feel more prepared to the season to come. And being a full year with DEForce and talking a lot to them has made me understand how the climate works and how people work inside the team. And now I feel like I'm more connected to them as I was in Sebring in the start of 2023. So I think that's momentum.
How about you, Quinn? How much have you grown? What you look back at Quinn, about this time last year. We're a couple weeks away from the start of the 2024 season. Think back about a year ago. How much have you changed?
Oh, the change is immense. Yeah, it's massive. It's just massive. There's been so many things that I've now experienced, witnessed. You know, completing a whole season is a different beast from showing up to your go-kart race and doing 3 of the 5 rounds. You know, things like that. Doing a half schedule of a season of USF Juniors the year before. You can learn things from it, but it's when you do that whole season, that's when you really start figuring out
the full immersion, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, like you've got to be there every session, sort of thing. You know, you learn that. You know, it's sometimes you feel, slack off this practice, and then all of a sudden you're P20 and you're lost. You know, so
you can't lift off the throttle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's something that I've learned. It's something I'm happy that I've learned now, like early in my career, so that I can take it, you know, further on.
Yeah. So you both talked about DEForce, right? And about how they've supported you. And the term I always hear when it comes to DEForce is family. Like that's the thing. Everybody brings up the fact that they feel like they're part of a family. Nicolas, let's start with you. You do your first year with DEForce. How does it feel to be back with them again? And what is DEForce to you?
DEForce to me, first of all, is a very good racing team. And for me, I feel like more than a family, they're realists. They're rational people, which they're very rational to the point where, like, when you do well, they're gonna say, man, you did really well today, congratulations. And when you don't do well, they'll say, hey, come on, you can do better.
Some tough love
You
there?
can do better. Yes, of course. There's tough love.
Of course.
There's tough love, and there has to be, because your parents aren't always nice to you. I mean, you need to have tough love so you can learn better. And I feel that in them. They are very happy for you when you do well, and they will help you get better when you don't do so well. And one thing I found that it's very, very different from teams I've driven for before is that if I say there's a problem in the car or I don't feel something's right, they won't think about it 2 times. They won't blame the driver. They will blame themselves as well as I will blame myself when I do mistakes. So it's very easy for you to grow in that sense, because when you don't have that ego inside of you, it really makes learning and the process of becoming faster as a team and as a driver really faster. Really.
How about you with DEForce? You've been there with them kind of a year and a half. You started halfway through the 2022 USF Juniors season, full season last year. Just kind of give me the overview of what the team means to you.
Yeah, they're like a family. You know, you wouldn't pick it. An Australian, you know, it's a team with Mexicans, Brazilians, you know, so diverse and so many different languages being spoken.
It's like a New Year's bar, you know.
Exactly, you know. And me personally, I know no Portuguese, I know no Spanish, but it still feels like a second home. You know, I've never been to Brazil, never been to Mexico, never been to any of these countries, but it feels so natural, you know, and that's something that I feel like so many people don't expect, and you may shy away from these things of, you know, that diversity, that, you know, difference from me being Australian. It's a different culture.
Again,
you know?
stretching you in different directions.
Exactly, you know, exactly. It's these experiences, you know, you're always linking back to experiences. And it's these people that help me become who I am, you know? And there's still so much for me, I believe, to get to. And I do believe that everyone at DEForce is the best people that can help me extract that and get to that potential.
Here's one thing I find interesting. You guys have both mentioned the fact that you're rookies in USF 2000 this year. The cool thing about DEForce and a number of the teams in the series is that they have Juniors 2000 and Pro 2000. Now you guys are going to be rookies in USF 2000. How much will you potentially be able then to mentor the young drivers in USF Juniors? You have that experience they haven't had before. Have you found yourself with some of these, you know, this test throughout the offseason, maybe going into 2024, where you'll be able to help them? They can come to you potentially with some ideas?
Of course, of course. We have been in their shoes. I mean,
exactly.
By the end of the season, they will be in Road America or Kona. I'm like, man, the championship is almost over. I'm freaking out. What do I do? And we can help. We can help.
Yeah.
They have our video, they have our data, and they have ourselves in the team, which is nice. I had Mac Clark. We had Mac last year, and he helped us a lot as well. And I think, despite having good engineers, good mechanics, having the drivers who drove the cars and like really felt what you've seen on data, this is mind-blowing. It's very good.
Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, for sure. As Nicolas says, it's one thing to have engineers, and I'm pretty confident we have the best engineers. Same with driver coach, you know, and driver coaches help so much, but at the same time, someone who's been in that experience can provide a really good insight, you know, like a Matt Clark, like Nicolas, for the juniors guys. You know, it's something that you can really extract a lot of knowledge out of as a person. So it's something that you can have in the back of your minds, you know, oh, this is what happened for Mac, you know, and this is what I could do differently, or hey, let's do the same thing and it'll work out good.
Fast forward to Portland. You mentioned Portland already. When we get there at the end of August, what's a good season for Nicolas Giaffone? When you look back, what's a success?
2024 USF 2000 champion.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it? What about, like if you're in the middle of a championship fight, is it championship or nothing right now?
Well, it's hard to say because I depend on the scholarship as I depended this year. So I'll go full elbows out with a right mindset. I won't be a you know what I mean?
Trying to hold yourself back. I get that. I respect that.
I will be a hard driver, but I'll be clean. I'll be gentle and to the point that I can be, as fast as I can be, and I hope that gets me to the front as the season goes. I think I'll develop a lot as a driver. The car, although it's similar, it's different to the USF Juniors, so we have some adaptation to do. And I hope at the end of the season I'll be fully adapted and fighting for the championship.
And it's not like it's something that is far-reaching for you to think to win a championship back-to-back. I said we've seen it before with a number of drivers who've worked their way through the entire program. Quinn, let's come to you. Same question. You know, I know that you're kind of the same spot, right? You need a scholarship. You need backing from everybody back in Australia to keep this dream alive. What's a success for you? Is it winning the championship or?
Yeah, it's championship. I'm a race car driver. I show up to win, you know. It's a second is nice, but I want a first, always. So it's one of those things that I always have in my mind that we're gunning for first. And the scholarship is such a crucial part for me to continue. Obviously missing out on it, you know, last year means that I got to get it even more this year, sort of thing.
I'm going to reformulate.
All right.
A successful season for me will be every time I get inside that car, I'm a bit better than I was before.
I
hope that's enough.
Yeah.
And I hope that's enough to be in a championship fight.
That sound about right for you too?
Yeah. Championship.
You'll take that. You'll take that. They were first and second last year in USF Juniors, and again, part of this program is being able to see the future stars of the IndyCar Series, and that's what we have here in the USF Pro Championships. Again, thank you so much, Nicolas. Thank you so much, Quinn, for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Robert. It's been a pleasure.
A couple of weeks away, folks, from the start of the 2024 season in St. Petersburg. It is going to be a tremendous season. Watch out. We're getting ready to go. 2024, about to go green, green, green. Thanks for joining. My name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.